This is my 98 GMC or Chevy truck that I use. Took the regular dually bed off and put a dump bed on it. And this is what I use for my landscape work. One of them anyway, the other one's the old white dump truck. Anyway, the air conditioning's not working, and I thought, well, we'll do a quick check up on it, see what's wrong with it, and wasn't going to do a video. I already got stuff started, and then I decided, well, I'll do a quick video on that. Okay, one thing I see right here, this compressor's got a lot of white or brownish colored dust on it, except right here it's got a little sticky like oil stain. So that tells me there's no way engine oil can get up here without somebody pouring it up here, so that is air conditioning oil that is leaking out of the compressor. But it's not leaking out at a fast rate, at least I don't think it is. I haven't had to charge up the air conditioner in probably 3 years or so. So anyway, I had to go find the gauges. They're hanging up here. Here's where mine charges up at. That's the high side. It's got the high pressure switch right there next to it also. Here's the low side, the vacuum side. And one way you can tell is this fitting here is a little bit bigger than this one. The bigger one is the high side on your gauges. Your bigger one will fit on that, but not on the low side. Let me get this on the tripod. We got those on. I always leave my little Freon can. I don't use the big 15 or 30 pound cans because sometimes I forget to shut them off. I don't do enough air conditioning work and they leak out on me. And that's a lot of money lost, not to mention the pollution. So here's what we're looking at now on the gauges up here. Do have pressure. Open these up a little bit to make sure the pressure's going into the gauge. As long as we got pressure in there, in the system, it's not completely empty, then we don't have to vacuum it out. It looks like all we got to do is add some Freon. So I'm going to start the motor and start adding Freon. Okay, the reason I know that it needs Freon is because we're only showing about 30 pounds of pressure in there. Let's see if we can get a close-up on that gauge. I can't tell if we can read that or not, but that's what it says with 30 pounds. I can't really see this viewfinder out here. 30 pounds is not enough to turn the compressor on. So when it's sitting still and not running, there should be at least, I'm going to say about 90 pounds. So I know if we put 1 can of Freon in there, it would probably be enough to get the compressor turning by itself. Leave my old can on there so I don't lose the, I've got to make sure this red one is turned off up here. Another thing, you never turn the red one on when you're, never open up the red one when you got one of these cans on here. just leave the old can on so I don't lose the gasket that's in there. Screw the new can on, not super tight, and then you gotta screw this thing back down. That punctures a hole in the can. Screw it back out again. Then we open up the blue up here. Open up the blue one. And look, the compressor's already kicking on and off. See the compressor turning on and off? That's all it needed. It was low on gas. I'm going to grab a couple more cans. It'll probably take 3 cans. When your hose goes, your low side pressure hose is blue, and when it goes directly on the compressor, you don't want to feed it liquid gas the whole time, which means upside down. You can just kind of trickle a little at a time. Let the liquid stay in the bottom of the can most of the time, because you don't want to take a chance on a hydraulic lock by getting too much liquid going in there at once and jamming the compressor. Now if the low side where you put the Freon in at, if it was farther back there on the firewall someplace and it had the whole length of more hoses to go through, then it's safer to put it in as the liquid all the way in. Well, we're about empty on this can. I think I still feel just a little bit of a liquid shaking in there. Not quite empty. When the motor warms up, you can hold it back here behind the fan, get some warm air blowing on it. As long as that can is ice cold, you probably still have liquid in it. You shake it, and if it gets cold again, then it's not empty. This can is empty enough, so I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go up here and shut off this blue valve, so that nothing out of the system leaks back out when I open this can up. Now I'm going to take this back off slowly. It's going to spray out a little bit. Puncture the can with that needle. Open it back up, open my blue valve up here on top. And my pressures are up. I know this thing's not real easy to see, but temperature has a lot to do with it outside. It's about 85 degrees out here today. The blue side showing about 20, a little over 20 pounds. The red side is the high side. It's showing about 155 pounds. What I'm looking for is to get probably 35 to 38 pounds on the low side, which is the blue, and about 250 pounds on the high side while we're sitting here idling. And that'll be pretty good. Pressures won't be that high when you're driving because you'll have a lot of wind going through there. Okay, we finished putting the second can in. We're still a little bit light on pressure. We're about 28 pounds on the low side, right at 200 on the high. It sounds high, but it's really not, because when you get some wind going through the condenser in the front of the radiator, it will bring that pressure down real quick. We're going to put the third can on it. And when it's a real hot day, which it is not today, if it's like 95 and on up, you need to have a water hose handy and keep spraying a little water on the condenser in front of the radiator to cool it down, bring your pressure down. Otherwise, you won't really get it charged up good. We got 3 cans in there, but my pressures are still just a little lower than what I was wanting to see, and I'm going to put half a can more in there. I believe my car can use half a can, so it won't leak out when I just leave the half a can on the hose there. When I'm done filling this, I can take it over and put the other half a can in the car. Although it may take a whole can in the car. I don't know. We'll see. We'll put half a can in it for now, in both of them. But it is blowing cold inside, but my pressures are still a little low. So I'm only about 28 to 30 on the low side, and about, looks like about 230 on the high side. And it's a little high for high pressure, but when it's sitting still in the heat, it's going to show a higher pressure than what it's really going to be when it's running. Well, it took the whole 4th can. I'm not used to these smaller cans yet, 12 ounces. They used to be 14 ounces. You used to get a lot more. So we're just going to go on ahead and take everything off. And it's easier while it's still running to get the blue one off first, because it has the least amount of pressure on it. Push it in, pull the collar back, take it off, nothing to it. And then you shut the system down to get the red one off. You don't have to, you can take it off. It's got a safety thing on it where it'll come off of there. But it's easier to do it when it's not running and your pressure equalizes. Right now we got 250 pounds of pressure on it up here on the red gauge. We'll shut the thing off and pressure will go down to probably around 90 or 100.